Hey, Dr. J. I'm doing my final podcast on the film Shoplifters, a 2018 film by Hirokazu Koreeda. This film has been on my watch list for about 2 years now, so I thought this would be the perfect excuse to give it a watch. I watched this film on my laptop through the Roku streaming website, which was pretty smooth actually, and surprisingly, there were no ads, despite it being advertised that there would be. I want to start by saying that my expectations of this film were thoroughly shattered. At first, I had only seen a man who was teaching his son to shoplift and a family that was willing to kidnap a little girl, so I was kind of just expecting to see a film similar to something like Good Time or Breathless, where it's a crime film led by extremely dislikable lead characters. But what I wasn't expecting was that this film would do a complete 180 and steal my heart as a family drama. After about an hour or so, I had actually forgotten that this family had kidnapped both of their children because I was so immersed in this love that was practically seeping off the screen. It didn't really matter that none of these people are technically family. The familial love they so clearly felt for each other was so overpowering, and any of these preconceived notions I had just went out of the window. At first, I had just thought these people to be evil, but what gives me the right to call them that when they're just a happy family trying to survive? All of these colliding elements and emotions made this film probably the most complex family drama I've ever seen. This film starts out very cold, and I mean that both visually and emotionally. We see a bunch of dimly lit shots and dark walkways, and it gives the film just a very murky feel. Meanwhile, the older members of the family, like Osamu, Nobuyo, and Hatsu, are stealing and scamming and kidnapping and just overall doing acts that are just objectively wrong. They have their reasons for why they find these acts to be excusable, but frankly, their reasons to me just sound like a load of BS. And like I said before, this led me to believe that the film would be more crime focused. But slowly the film starts to grow warmer. The shots become much more colorful and feel less claustrophobic. And through this technique, the film starts to show us who these people actually are. These people are filled with so much love. They have so much love for each other, and they just want to make life better for the people they consider family. They're really just trying to keep themselves afloat through any means necessary. This shift in the film showed me that these aren't necessarily bad people, despite some of their law breaking tendencies. What makes you good or bad or evil relies entirely on your values. And this family seemed just to value their own prosperity and their own success over any values the law told them to have. Shota and Yuri were neglected children, extremely likely to grow up in terrible situations and possibly become terrible people themselves. So by taking them in as their own children, their lives improved. They were shown love they didn't know existed. Unfortunately for the family, they just didn't do it in the right way. Perhaps if they tried to adopt them in accordance with the law wouldn't have seen it the same way as them and wouldn't have permitted them to do so. So instead, they just acted on instinct. This film actually reminds me of a quote. I wish I knew what it was from. I tried to look it up, but unfortunately I just couldn't find it. But it goes something like this. I've known crooked priests and honorable thieves. You're a criminal. A good one or a bad one, that's up to you. This to me is the ideology of the film. The complexity of morality. Does doing wrong make you wrong? What constitutes goodness? I'd love to hear your take on this, Dr. J, because I do think it's a very interpretive film overall. But overall, I'm very happy to say that I finally gave this film a watch and it was a great film. I can finally move this film off of my watch list and into my shopping list. Also, with this being my first time watching Koreeda, I now feel it very necessary to check out more of his filmography.